Hey everybody, my name's Aaron Bach. I am the host of Journals Out Loud, where we're talking about life and strife and you name it. You send us the questions, we answer them. So this is kind of a new gig for us, and I'd like for everyone on the panel to introduce themselves. Let's start off with Danya.
Oh, hey guys. I'm Danya Duchess, and a fun fact is I love snowboarding. You might not think that when you look at me, but I snowboard.
That's a good one. I snowboard too.
What? Am I the only one who doesn't snowboard here?
Really?
No, I
Yeah.
don't snow. I don't snowboard.
Okay,
I've
that's,
only skied. I've
snowboarders.
skied though, but
It's
snowboarding seems
snowboard.
harder.
so your name's Abanya,
Hey
and you
guys,
don't snowboard.
I don't snowboard. I used to be a soccer player, so
That's a
I guess
fun
we're all
fact.
athletic around here.
Nice.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is August, and I was a competitive snowboarder for 15 years.
Stop.
Yeah.
We need to talk.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
We
Hey, I'm Katie Michael, and I can't get off a chairlift while I snowboard.
It is one of the
But I
hardest
snowboard.
parts.
It
Thank
is.
you. Okay, thank
It
you.
is.
And I'm Aaron Bach, as I said before, and I can't snowboard, so there you go. Tonight we're talking about cheating, all sorts of kinds of things about cheating, and we're hearing from some of your stories about times where maybe you were cheated on, or maybe you weren't sure if you were cheated on. That's kind of the case for our first question. Let's jump straight in there. Is it okay for my girlfriend to send nudes and have dirty talk with guys she met on Tinder? I told her previously that she could have Tinder, which was my way of saying that I trust her not to. Is it cheating?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know about this because I told her previously that she could have Tinder. So
Yeah, I
I
guess
think
what-
you need to specify, like, is this an open relationship? Because if you're allowing your couple to have a Tinder or a Raya or whatever dating app you guys are on,
That's
I
what
think
happened.
She took an inch, but no. He gave her an inch, and she took a mile.
but what's
But
the point of having Tinder?
Right, but
then?
not only that, it's like you have
Yeah.
Tinder. You don't go on Tinder just to look at the photos. Like you're opening a floodgate of
For
opportunities.
sure.
To have those
talk
conversations.
and
So like
create
you
So-
have
bonds.
done that, and yes, she cheated on you.
Right.
I
Definitely.
mean, but he let her.
Yeah.
He said like, "Hey, you can have a Tinder." I mean,
Right.
sending nudes and dirty talking with other people other than your significant other is kind of strange.
Honestly, I think
but-
the biggest problem with this situation, not to cut you off, but I think just thinking about it as we're talking about it, the biggest problem with the situation is not being open and honest in the first
Yeah.
place.
yeah.
If you did not want her to cheat or have conversations or send dirty pictures to other guys, you should not have said that you're comfortable with her having a Tinder in the hopes that she won't do it. If you don't want her to do it, say, no, I don't want you to have a Tinder. I am not comfortable with you having that. That's not okay.
Well,
do you know
did
what I
she
mean?
ask for a Tinder? Because I feel like that's like kind of be like,
Maybe
hey,
she
babe,
was
can
still
I
on
get a-
Tinder and he was like, you can leave it, you can keep it.
But
Oh, that's
that's
a
a
good
lie.
point.
That's
Yeah,
very
but-
likely.
I think, yeah, that's likely because
That's
I've been in
likely.
that, I think that the problem here is, and one of my ex-boyfriends used to tell me, like, you're black or white. And it's not that I'm black or white, but you need to learn how to set your boundaries and definitely tell, your partner what you're okay with. Because I think that middle ground, that gray area is where things get confusing. And then, is it okay? Is it not okay? No, I think you should specify what's okay, what's not, and what you're going to deal with in a relationship and take it from there.
I kind of
Yeah.
like that. That's a really succinct way of putting it. I mean, I think that what has happened here is you've given your girlfriend permission to assume that this is an okay behavior.
Mhm.
What is Tinder for? Just real quick, go around the room. What is it for?
People hook up. I
Yeah,
never
hook
had a
up.
Tinder.
There you go.
Yeah.
I haven't had
But-
a Tinder either, but I mean,
It's for hooking
I
up.
never use it.
I had a Tinder for 48 hours. I deleted it. It was just a waste of time.
It was.
I've
Like,
had a
I finally
Raya, which
together.
is kind of similar. Like, it's
But
another
10
dating app.
times
I get what it
better.
is. Like, yeah, 10
Yeah.
times better.
Right.
And you could be there for friends, which I am.
Yeah,
but- But you made the point very clear. Like, we
Yeah.
all know what Tinder's for.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
right.
for hookups.
It's for
Exactly.
hookups.
So if that's the case and you said go for it,
You're
You
telling them
have-
it's okay.
exactly. But if
Yeah.
that's not how you feel, don't ever let that be an option in the first place, right?
Absolutely.
Communication, exactly. Now, what do you think counts as cheating in a relationship? Everyone has different definitions, right? So, like, some people might be okay with, like, people being flirty online because, oh, well, it's just some online random Joe Schmo. They're never going to actually meet, whatever.
Mhm.
Like, that's definitely something that, like, there are people that I know who are that way. But what do you guys
It
think?
depends on the situation. It depends on the people and
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you had a relationship with somebody and you talked about that, and then that's okay to do, then cool. But in another person's relationship, maybe not.
Right.
So I think it definitely is situational.
But let's get personal.
Like,
what do
what
you
are we
think?
I think
defining
Yeah.
cheating?
I think it all comes down to intentions and
And not just the
Hers-
intentions of your partner, but the
Right.
intention of the person that they're talking
Yeah.
to.
Right.
Yeah.
So personally for me, like, I'll tell you guys right now. So, yes, I'm engaged. I have my fiance. We've been together for 3 years, and we are very open and honest with each other. If there's something that makes me absolutely uncomfortable, I tell him the minute it makes me uncomfortable. And the same goes for him. If there's a situation that I'm talking to a guy friend of mine, or if somebody takes it to another level that I didn't mean to go to, like, we check each other. So he'll let me know, or I'll let him know, whatever the case may be. When it comes to cheating, if we're talking about like rules and stuff, my fiance, he has girls that are friends, but at the same time, if he were to, for example, meet some new girl that he just made a friend with, he would make it a point to introduce her to me, and so I can have some sort of friendship with her as well. Because there are a lot of people out there that have false motives, and they will deliberately, it's human nature. People want what they can't have. Like, you just can't help it. So there's people out there that'll come deliberately trying to ruin your relationship, or try to be like, oh yeah, I just want to be a friend, but deep down they have a crush on that person, or they're trying to sneakily, get their way in there. So you have to be able to read that. My fiance is very friendly, very, very friendly. So he knows that he's not able, he's really bad at reading girls if they're flirting with him and stuff. So he kind of just stays away from that completely. He tries to not have any girls that are actual friends, because he cannot tell if they're flirting with him or not. That's just him. And he knows that about himself. And I know that about him. So we've taken it upon ourselves that, if we're in a situation where a girl's flirting with him and he doesn't read it, he just takes himself out of the situation completely, because he just can't tell. And it's not a bad thing. It's just he's very naive in a lot of ways, because he's just a nice person. And I used to be that way. And I don't want to like keep talking, but I used to be that way where, I don't know if you guys can agree, but like, you'd have a guy that's your friend and you're just friendly with them, but meanwhile they think you're flirting with them. And you're like,
That's
I'm
like
not
my
flirting at
everyday
all.
life,
I'm
yeah.
just being friendly. There's a big difference. You
So
know what I mean?
yeah, and I think that's a great point. I mean, I think that lots of people have different baseline flirtation levels,
Exactly.
right? Like, some people are just always flirts. Like, that's just
Mhm.
how they operate, regardless of how they are actually, like, what they're actually doing.
Right. Or what their motives are.
Right. And I think that
smiley face. Hashtag.
and I think that you're saying in your relationship you kind of
Yeah.
had a period where you were like figuring out what to do about it, right? And from what I'm hearing, communication was the key. Being
it's
honest,
the biggest
right?
key. It's like
Definitely.
you can
Yeah.
solve everything by just communicating. Like, that's the biggest thing that I say about relationships in general. Nobody is a mind reader, and that's like whether it's your brother, sister, cousin, mother, father, whatever, best friend, relationship. Nobody's a mind reader. Nobody's gonna know what you're thinking or what you're feeling unless you communicate that to them. And you have to know what kind of person you're dealing with. I know that my fiance is really friendly. I know that he's also very naive. We've gone to clubs where like he's walking to the bathroom and girls have flat out flirted with him, and he has no idea they're flirting. And I laugh about it because I think it's funny, like, because I know that's how he is. And so I find it funny. I don't consider that cheating. You know what I mean? Because I know what kind of person I'm dealing with.
And I love that, right? Like, no one's a mind reader, but being
Yeah.
honest and open and like saying this is who this person is and these
Right.
are the boundaries that we have set together.
Absolutely.
You're comfortable now.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
he can tell me stories for days about girls that have like came up to him like years later, like, oh my God, I had the biggest crush on you, and he had no idea. It's really sweet. Like, he just has no idea when a girl's flirting with him.
But you're all on the level, so that's
Yeah,
perfect.
Same page.
So let's go on to the next question. I found out today that the guy I was seeing had a girlfriend the whole time. This is the second time this has happened to me, and I feel so stupid. I don't think, and I didn't think I was a gullible person, but maybe now I feel like when guys see me, they know they can take advantage of me. Now I don't know if I can trust anyone anymore. Wow.
That's so rough, because it's like, honestly, you can't really know if a person is telling the truth or not. You know what I mean? If you
That is
stalk
so
them on
true.
Instagram or Facebook and there's no evidence that they have a relationship with somebody, how are you supposed to know? And if they don't tell you, like, what are you supposed
I
to do?
don't
I
know.
don't think you're stupid. I think that's definitely just you didn't know.
Double lives happen.
For sure.
I've definitely been in the same situation.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, tell us.
I think it was my first boyfriend, but you know what it was? I always had a gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a gut feeling is, because it's crazy. I never had evidence, and that's crazy for me because I'm like a detective. I can find anything out. But this guy was so good at it, and I always had a feeling. I'm like, he's doing it, like, I know it. And then when we broke up, like, months later, I actually, like, ended up being really good friends with the girl that he was dating at the same time as me.
Oh.
So she told me, like, yeah, like, Thanksgiving, he was with me, Christmas, like, he would go back and forth, and
Wait, did she know about you?
she knew because I was the official girlfriend.
She was a side chick.
Yeah, but
Wow.
he was like, but he would put things in her mind saying, like, no, like, we're, like, on and off, we're not really, like, it was just a mess, you know?
Wow.
And then we ended up becoming friends, and she confirmed, like, all the times that I had that gut feeling, I was right.
Wow.
So,
How'd you resolve it?
oh, I broke up with him because it just got like with time. I ended up finding out, and I never spoke to him again. Like when I said I was black and white, like I'm a switch. Like you
One or
like
the
screwed
other.
me over. You're done. Like 4 years, I'm still not answering your text, your WhatsApps, or your emails. Like stop. Don't
So
try.
here's a good question. Like, people cheat. Like, that's the thing that happens, and it's happened throughout all time. But is forgiveness like that important?
I
Like,
think it depends on. Okay, so I don't think anybody's perfect. I think people make mistakes. It's all about. It's not necessarily. I'm trying to think the best way to say it. There's that saying that's like it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily cheating is bad by all means necessarily. Like it's bad, period. But it's also people make mistakes. So it's not always as black and white. It's not always
Well,
like you cheated, you're a terrible person. Da 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 da. There might be a reason behind it.
But
Do
I
you know
think
what
it's
mean?
different
that makes
when you
sense.
cheat on someone
Yeah.
for like it happens one night.
One
but
time versus
to carry on like two different lives and you're like
Exactly.
every single day you're deceiving a person. It's
Mhm.
like you have an issue. Like
That's
you have
what
a
I'm saying. There's a
mental
difference.
problem
There's a
because you're a
difference.
sociopath. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's something. No, it's true because like I mean it blows my mind how
It's-
somebody can look at you in the face
No,
and say
no,
like
I
I love
completely
you, like you're
agree.
the love of my life, and then
and lie.
the
And
next
lie.
day
Yeah.
be with somebody else. It's just like
Wow.
Yeah, I was dating a girl, and she had a friend, and they were very close, and they would hang out and text all the time.
Mhm.
And I had this horrible feeling. 'Cause I was out, and they were sitting on a chair together, and they were both like a little drunk, and I could just see the way that they were looking at each other.
Mhm.
But there was always this: there's nothing going on. There's nothing
Mhm.
going on. There's nothing going on. We ended up breaking up, and this girl tried to get with my ex like week one.
Mhm.
Week one. But I still don't have proof that it's a thing or was ever a thing. And so it's still something that drives me a little cuckoo.
Bonkers.
But
well, you
it's-
gotta assume if it was like a week
yeah,
later.
It was a week
the
later.
feelings
that
didn't
I,
just pop up out
no,
of nowhere.
course
You
not.
know what I mean?
And I knew it the whole time. And when she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my God, won't believe that this person tried to sleep with me," I was like,
Right.
"Yeah, I knew that. I tried to tell you that they had feelings, and I don't know if there's." But how do you know? How do you know if someone's cheating? How do you know
Yeah,
if
no,
someone's
you
lying
Honestly,
about
I
cheating?
think
See, I
your
was on the
gut-
opposite. I was
yeah.
on the opposite end of that. My only boyfriend ever, he was cheated on like a lot by his other girlfriends, and we were best friends for like 6 months, and I actually caught his before me, his girlfriend cheating on him, and I texted him. I was like, "Hey, so like, how are you?" and blah blah blah, and he's like, "We're on a break." I was like, "What does that mean? What is that? Like, what does that mean?" And he's like, "Why?" And I called him. I was like, "Dude." She's like macking out with this other dude right now.
Ooh.
They're
Oh my
they're
God.
like dancing, and he hung up and just like it was crazy. But then like a couple weeks later, like we started dating, and then like 2 years later, when I moved here, he just got so crazy. He honestly thought like every
Aw.
time I went out with somebody, a girl,
He was
it would
paranoid.
be girls. He would freak out, and then come to find out, I went to Europe for 2 weeks during the summer before I moved here, and he actually texted his ex-girlfriend
Oh.
that cheated on her and was like, "Hey, I have like 2 weeks before Katie Michael gets back. Do you want to hang out?"
Whoa.
And I was like, "You're gonna tell me that I'm cheating on you? Like, and you're
That's
like,
terrible.
yeah, that was, and honestly, that's why I had to bye."
So I guess
Yeah.
on one final
Boy,
note,
bye.
on one final note regarding this, I mean, like, you're comfortable not forgiving these people, correct?
Well, I think it depends. I think it depends on what the connection you have. So I have 2 friends in Las Vegas, and we just all found out, our friend group found out that they both cheated on each other. And they love each other so much and understand each other that they feel like breaking up was worse than what they both did. Now I do think it helps because they both cheated on each other. So at the end of the day, they kind of don't really have, well, you did this to me. It's like, well, yeah, you did it to me too, kind of a thing. But I do think I like know them, and they are so in love, and they did make a mistake. But I do think it's so situational and how much
Yeah,
you are
Yeah.
I
deeply
agree.
connected to that
And it's
person.
not what you do, it's how you do
yeah,
it.
you
Do
could.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
That's true.
totally could end up forgiving that person, and they may never do it ever again.
But
Well,
also,
I
if we're
agree.
talking
Now,
about
but like fool me once kind of thing, fool me
right,
twice.
but if we're talking about the forgiveness thing in general, if you just want to get to that point,
Yeah.
it's the whole idea of like I told you guys already, but like my boyfriend in college cheated on me with like 15 girls around campus, and it was like I found out about one girl, and it was one situation, so I was like, okay, I can forgive him, I can try to move forward with this. And then in that moment, I remember having the conversation with him where I was like, listen, if there's anything else you need to tell me, get it off your chest now so we can start fresh, move forward. Like, you're telling me
Right.
it's one. If it's just, my gut knew it was not just one, but he kept telling me it was one, it was one, it was one, it was one. So we tried to make it work, and then everything else just blew up. And I found out about all these other girls.
Wow.
And after that, I was devastated. And I think the biggest thing about being cheated on, especially that severely, is that you look at yourself and your self-esteem goes so down. My self-esteem was so low, and I had to rebuild that up. It's called self-esteem. Like, there's nobody else that's going to build it up
Yeah.
for you. So I made it a point to, like, look in the mirror and be like, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're talented, you're this, you're that, the third, to get myself to the point that I felt like I was good enough to go into another relationship. Now, the forgiveness part, I forgave him a long time ago for all of that, because one, we were young. Like, people make mistakes. I understand nobody's perfect, but ultimately that forgiving him was more for me than it was for him ever.
Yeah,
Because I was able to close that part of my heart to move forward and be able to be loved and accept love from the right person and love them back the right way. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, and I think that forgiveness and forgetting are like, I know that sounds silly, but
Completely
forgiveness and forgetting are two different things. You
Mhm.
can forgive someone with going and moving forward, knowing that they did it, it
Mhm.
happened, you've let go
Can't
of
change it.
the feelings, but you're not gonna forget that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hold it against them once you forgave them, but it's a lesson learned. You are now a little bit this way. Just be you're a
Mhm.
little bit wiser, exactly, from having gone through that. So you forgive them if they matter enough, or if they are worthy of your forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You have to forgive yourself, because you obviously blame yourself for it happening.
Yeah,
At
but
first.
also you just don't want to hold that on your chest. Like,
Exactly.
being
Yeah.
angry takes so much
Yeah.
effort. Like, I've been there, trust me, where you're just so angry and you're just mad all the time and you're looking at the world different and everything seems gray, but it's just not worth it. Like, there's so much energy that can be used towards doing better things and being positive and being happier and seeing colors, rather than just being in like this headspace of just like so mad at this one person and holding on to something that you can't change. There's nothing you can do about it. So being upset is not going to change the fact that they did what they did. It's
Yeah.
best to just forgive them, and by forgiving them, that doesn't mean you have to be their friend. That doesn't mean you have to text them.
Or
That
it
just
doesn't
means
mean you have to take them
you
back.
don't, yeah, you don't
what
have
I-
to take them
that's what I
back. You
was
don't have to
gonna
have
jump in
contact.
that-
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna jump in that. You know, you can forgive somebody, but exactly that doesn't mean
Mhm.
that you want to continue in a
No.
relationship, because I feel like trust in a relationship is
So important.
Number
so
one.
important and it's essential. And once that trust is broken, and a lot of times when there's a cheater involved, the relationship also tends to be toxic. So if you're already at the point where you're finding out this is all happening and it's a habit, it's not like something that happened and the relationship's great and it was like a slip up. I feel like it's just time to let go, forgive, like you said, for
Mhm.
yourself, and
Get
then
it
move
off,
on,
yeah.
because you don't need anybody in your life that's gonna be making you lose sleep. Because of course, like, I know how that feels, like just having to wonder, oh my God, what is he doing? What is so.
Well, thank you all so much for your input on this very complicated topic, and also thank you for sharing your personal stories.
Yeah.
We want to hear your stories down in the comments. Have you been cheated on? Have you ever cheated on someone else? Let us know. Either way, catch us later this week. We will be back, and thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Yay.